Hello, hello, hello. Test, test. Mic looks good. Audio sound okay? Give everyone, I sent out a tweet saying we're live, so I'll give everyone a minute or two and then we'll get started. If you were in yesterday's stream, or sorry, I guess Wednesday's stream, I mentioned the C-clamp targets, and I was like, oh yeah, there's C-clamps, and you can't, and I couldn't find any. There's 2 C-clamps on Dixie right now, and I was just drawing a blank. So we'll talk about those in a minute. But there's one on the monthly that already played out, and there's one on the weekly that is looking like it's most likely going to play out. But we'll talk about those in a minute. Just going to get these things situated, make them look all purty for you. All right, quick question for you guys. How many people do you see watching the video? Because to me, it says 21, and then when I see it on Twitch, it says 28. What do you guys see? I'm trying to figure out why there's a discrepancy here. It must be like a refresh rate thing. You guys see 28? Okay. Guess this number is messed up then. This one up here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. We'll be brief on the monthly chart for Dixie, and not super relevant just because we still have another week left on the monthly. But on the monthly, we did hit this C-clamp target, which is right on monthly previous resistance and is now confirmed support. And then when we look a little deeper on the weekly, we see that we still have a few hours left. Still have 4 hours left, but it's looking like this thing is potentially going to close back inside the cloud, or maybe close outside the cloud and potentially close back in. But if it does, then we have another C-clamp here, and it would target this Kijun. So I'll make some notes here. We'll just keep them brief. So Dixie, monthly C-clamp target hit. Still have one more week left to see how it closes. On 2, the weekly C-clamp is setting up. Need to watch how the weekly closes. Failure to close outside the cloud would indicate a mean reversion to the Kijun. Slow, average. Okay. I know on Wednesday I promised some C-clamp examples, but here's one here, and here's one on the monthly. So we see the C here, and it was flat. It is now starting to curve up a little bit, but when it was, a month ago, we could, or even if we even go further back, like right here, we can see that the C-clamp was setting up, and then if we go forward in time, it hits the target there, and then closes above the support. And now our current monthly candle is following this bullish engulfing, which likely means that it's just going to bounce and keep going up. So there you have it. Okay. Any questions about this before we go to the Bitcoin stuffs? I'll also add this. Monthly target hit, which was also the monthly range support, and responded with a bullish engulfing candle. Dixie high time frame has potential head and shoulders. What? Where? I'm on the weekly. I'm on the monthly, and here's the weekly. I don't really know how much more higher time frame you want to go, but definitely don't see head and shoulders. On the daily. Oh, this thing? That's a pretty weak looking head and shoulders. I think this thing skipped shoulder day at the gym. So question is, doesn't a bullish engulfing need to close above the previous high? Yeah, it did. So here's the body of the candle. Here's the bullish engulfing close. So I mean, there are different ways to look at the bullish, like a bullish engulfing candle, but for the most part, you can just look at the bodies. So like here, like there's plenty of examples of this happening. So here, 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 continuation, 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 reversal, continuation, reversal. So yeah, if you look at just the bodies they're sufficient. You don't have to have like the absolute extremes like the wicks. But yeah, makes sense. So yeah, this would be an indication of a reversal. The reversal would be like here's the downtrend. The reversal would be up. Same thing here. Same thing here. Same thing here. So all of these are reversal signals. There's a continuation. Yeah. So they're pretty reliable. They're pretty reliable. It's very rare that you see an engulfing candle not reverse or continue, depending on the trend bias. Let's see if we can find some. So here's one that didn't immediately reverse, but was definitely showing weakness and it didn't make a new high, right? So I guess here's an example of a bearish engulfing that didn't play out, but they have a really, really high strike rate. Nothing's 100% strike rate, obviously, but they have a really high strike rate. Here's a reversal candle or a continuation candle that didn't play out. So yeah, I mean, there are some examples, so don't take this as like a one size fits all solution. Okay. All right. Any other questions about Dixie before we go to the Bitcoin stuff? Plus, it's also retesting this giant range, and it looks like confirmed support. So now, how much juice it has left in the bounce, that remains to be seen. That's why I would just target the Kijun. And if it hits the Kijun and reverses, well, that makes sense too. But if this thing does go to the Kijun, which would be a new yearly high, so this is why it's important to watch this stuff. So Kijun was about here. This whole bull market that we had in crypto coincided with, dollar weakness. So dollar strength is going to most likely have crypto and equities and all kinds of other stuff pull down because they're inverse dollar plays, right? Okay, so let's go to crypto. So important notes to take away here at a high level. So let's go to the weekly chart. So we'll go weekly cloud. Oh, that's not the cloud. Weekly cloud. My magnet's sitting pretty. The prior weekly close closed inside the cloud, and as we discussed on Wednesday, closes inside the cloud in this fashion, tend to set up edge-to-edge plays that gravitate toward the other side. So in this case, it would be 43-2. So I'll make a note here. BTC, 1 weekly. Sorry, I don't know if you guys can hear that siren, but there's an ambulance driving by my house. Weekly, wee woo. Sorry. Sorry, someone else's pain is your inconvenience. No, just kidding. So weekly, let's say weekly edge to edge setup is still valid. But we need to watch to see if the current weekly candle is going to reject the cloud in the form of a close outside the cloud. Okay, and then we'll say target equals 43,400. If it plays out, right? This is the if it plays out. Okay. What else can we say? Okay. So we'll go to daily. So daily, the cloud isn't like the most amazing thing ever, but you can see that it's actually kind of starting to form a C clamp. So it's not the cleanest C clamp in the world because this could easily flatten out like this and then curve up. But it is currently flat, and if this thing stays flat, like let's say it does something like this, right? Well, I'll color that red. Red does something like that, and this thing kind of comes up like this. Color that blue. Look at that, beautiful. This would set up the C clamp, and a close below this would target the Kijun, which is 24.2. So, however, get out of here. Right now it's a pretty weak signal. Like it's not a clean C clamp. I wouldn't weigh this very strongly. But just something to keep an eye out going forward. Like in a few days, if this thing starts looking C clampy, well, then we got a target in mind. But one thing to keep in mind though is we are currently running into the prior range. So prior range is this whole deal here. And we are currently sitting right at the range. And, no surprise, but, I need to mute my notifications. Sorry. You did not get a Discord notification. I did. Where'd my streamer mode go? Let me turn that on. Streamer mode. Oh, shut up. Streamer mode. Boom. There we go. Sorry. You're not getting a Discord notification. It was me. But either way, currently running into prior range support, which at the moment is confirmed resistance, whether you like it or not. It has not broken it. It has rejected it. And something else to keep in mind. So I sent out a tweet earlier today saying the mid to low time frame looks like it's giving concerning signs of distribution. And that is visible here when we have all these overlapping candles that just kind of do this, like this kind of thing. When we have overlapping candles like this, when we drill deeper, that often looks like distribution. Now, that doesn't mean this whole thing is distribution. It just means like within the context of this is distribution, and likely is just going to see further pullback, which is also in line with the C clamp idea. So there's a lot of things going on here. So we'll make our notes here. So daily, I'll make a different subsection. So daily. Daily, currently running into prior range support, now turned resistance, closes rejecting. We'll do this. We'll do closes rejecting the range are a sign of resistance, now turned resistance. Okay. Now, what we really want to watch for, like we keep seeing the market flirting with the upper boundary of this broadening wedge thing, this guy. And if it keeps being on shaky ground, if this thing does reject it, well, then we'll be looking for a run to this lower guy. Maybe if shit really hits the fan, right? But we'll take it one step at a time. At the moment, there is this level here, which is also our C-clamp target ish. So if the market does come down, like, don't just think like, oh, the sky's falling. This is a level that, this zone here makes a lot of sense from like a prior market structure standpoint, and also like mean reversion metrics standpoint. So I'll also make this note here. Need to watch, what do we want to say? Daily cloud structure for potential C-clamp mean reversion to the Kijun, red squiggle guy. So that again would look like this. If this thing stays flat, and I'll make some notes about this. So I'll say watch our signs of C clamp include flat Kijun, red, combined with a rounding Tenkan, right? And again, that looks like this: flat, round, right? Again, here's the example on the Dixie chart. If I get rid of the cloud, you can see it a little bit better. Style, boom, 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 boom. Right, so here's the C-clamp. Flat, round. So we need to watch this chart like that, okay? Other signs. A close below the Tenkan blue. Okay. Currently we haven't even touched the Tenkan, so it's like it's not even on the table right now. But again, we're just throwing things out there to keep an eye on in case they do form. We have a plan. All right. What else? What else can we say here? When we drill a little deeper, let's like say on the hourly, for example. Let's get rid of you. Boom, boom, boom. When we look at things on like the hourly, this is where the signs of distribution are visualized, okay? So here, when I was talking about the overlapping bars on the daily, that takes the form of this trading range here. And as you are aware, we had this giant injection of volatility. And what's interesting here is we didn't actually take out the liquidity. We captured some. We captured some here, 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 here. But this was the obvious one that we never hit. It fell just shy of it by like a few bucks. And this was, of course, brought about by the the Fed interest rate news. But if you've been paying attention to any of the stuff I've been talking about, there's this obvious rising wedge here that was showing signs of weakness, and that weakness took the form of a lot of things. Like, so we have RSI divergence, right? We have higher highs, lower highs on the RSI, right? So 4-hour RSI divergence. Even this 4-hour high here, also a lower high. So it's just it's sputtering out of energy here. And I'm currently watching for a scalp trade. I'm currently watching for this to run to this prior high here. So if you're a Wyckofian or you're into trading range analysis, whatever, this is the anatomy you would use. You use something like this. You'd say this is your preliminary supply. This is your buying climax. Here's your automatic reaction or automatic rally, whatever you want to call it. Series of secondary tests. Here's your up thrust, your sign of weakness. And then this would be considered, this whole series of stuff would be an up thrust after distribution. And it's considered an after distribution because it would be after the sign of weakness. And so what I'm looking for is for this to run up to here, clear this level, and then get rejected. If this clears this level, gets rejected, and returns to the trading range, so it does something like this, goes boom, boom, that is not good. That is a very bad sign. And what that usually will indicate is that this whole trading range here is a distribution trading range. So let's drill a little deeper. So let's just say mid TF. Let's say 4 hour chart still showing divergence on the RSI. Hourly is showing signs of a potential distribution. And then we'll say signs of distribution to watch out for. Let's say that. One, we got a strong, I'm gonna say an impulsive rally that clears the previous high. And what is that high? This is a high at 28.9, 28,900. That returns to the trading range boundary at 28,000. Okay. So what that would look like is, something like this, where like the candle pushes up, closes up here, or maybe even just wicks it and returns. But if it starts closing back inside here, we're going to immediately target a breakout to the downside. And that would, I'm going to show you past examples. Got another gifted sub. Thanks, Nook. If it closes back inside the trading range, it would likely take, I'm saying likely because it's like I'm just crystal balling things right now. Like I don't know, but just based on previous, what I know about market or trading range analysis, if it comes down and then it'll do something like this, like that, or just straight up shit through this thing and do something like that. Before I forget, let me write down the target of this. So 24,200. Sorry, I'm ADD right now. Squiggle guy. And we'll say target of C clamp equals, what did I say? 28,200. Target equals 28,000. We'll give it its own little section here. There we go. Boom. Okay. And that is also in line with, again, this all of this stuff here. All right, so here's our 28,200 or 400. I already forgot. And then it's in line with this support retest. Or 24,000. Sorry. You right? 24,000. Okay, let's go back to this guy. Okay, so this would look like, and this will also be present in the volume. So if we see a move up here, in order for it to really be really sold on this being a distribution example, we would want to see lower volume, right? So something like this, boom, boom, boom. to our 24,200. So let's look at some prior examples of distribution so we can keep this in mind. Okay, so here is an example of a distribution trading range on the daily. All right, so here's a distribution trading range. It looked like this. Boom. Right. So this is a very similar example. So we have our preliminary supply here. Buying climax, automatic rally or automatic reaction, our up thrust, our sign of weakness. In this case, we didn't have the up thrust after distribution. We didn't have that. We just had a last point of supply, and then that ran down. But you can see there's a really similar type of structure. And when we look at the volume tells us everything. So this break above the range, which is this guy, all this is the range. A break above the range and return. And this does it on low volume. And then the high volume kicks in on the downside, and we can see it picking up big time. And then, of course, it fails to rally, and then the big-ass volume picks up on the ride down. Right? So these are all signs of market weakness. And if you want to learn more about this kind of analysis, I made a video on YouTube. You can watch it. It's free. It's on my YouTube channel. It's called Why Markets Move. It's a really long course, but it was a live seminar that I did I don't know, a few years ago, and I just recorded it and put it up for you to watch for free. And of course, can't forget on the weekly time frame, this big ass trading range that started our bear market. So we have something similar here. That, right? Volume still applies here. This took the form of like an Adam and Eve double top, but double tops are just fancy distribution trading ranges that have a name. But we can see here, we have this break above, close below with zero volume to show for it. And then of course we see the big spread on the ride down with expanding volume. And then the volume really picks up. We see these large outliers in volume with swelling volume on the way down, right? So there you have it. All right, so questions. Ethereum fan, or can you explain your logo? Yeah, so my logo, I'm not like an Ethereum like moon boy or anything. My logo was created like in 2017 by one of my viewers. And it was just because like when I first started doing live content, most people wanted to see my Ethereum analysis more than my Bitcoin analysis, honestly. And that was because I started my streaming career, if you want to call it that. I don't know if it's a career yet, but I started on Reddit, and I started posting daily analysis on Reddit, and I got most popular for posting Ethereum analysis. And I just made a couple of really, really good calls that everyone was a fan of. And then so like my logo just kind of came from that. And it's kind of like an inside joke because when I first turned on donation notifications, someone like pranked me with a carrot, like an up carrot kind of thing. And it was like just repeated carrot for forever. And it just kind of became an inside joke. And so now I have my logo, which is the Ethereum logo, but in the form of a carrot. So there you go. Been 7 years, sounds like a career. Yeah, but I haven't been streaming for 7 years. I took a couple years off, and now I'm back at it again. See if I can, see what I can do with this Homo crypto erectus is following me. That is a great name. I like that. You have TTS for donations? Yeah, I should, right? I should. Yeah, I do. It's why are you gonna fucking carrot me? Yeah, it's on the left side. Like if you scroll down below, there's like a it's called Say It Live, and you can TTS me. What is the threshold? Like the upper threshold, infinity. If you want to give me your entire net worth, you can do it in for the sake of a TTS. The lower, I don't actually know. I think it's like 200 bits or something like that. Whatever. It's something that's like so that you can't just noise, ear rape me. But I don't really even know what bits equates to. But I think it's 200 bits or something. Explain the TTS. So TTS is text to speech. So if like you make a donation, you can type something. So if you want to be like, "Hey Schmidt, you smell weird," it'll give me a donation and then it'll pop up and someone will read, like AI will read it. It'll be like, "Hey Schmidt, you smell weird," and then it'll like kind of pop up on the screen. Try it out. We'll see. I think 200 bits is like a couple bucks. I really don't know what bits, like I don't know what the conversion rate is. Like what's the conversion rate of Schrute bucks to Stanley nickels? Like I don't know. Man, we really derailed there. It's two. Is it? It's like 100 bits is a dollar. So it's like a bit is a cent. Okay. All right. Let's like we really derailed here. Okay, what were we saying? 4-hour chart still shows divergence on the RSI. I'll also say this, indicating an overbought market condition. Hourly is showing signs of potential distribution. I don't like that. I don't like the indentation. I also want to make this note too. Just because an hourly distribution is present, that does not mean it is a macro distribution is present. I.e., a small pullback in an otherwise bullish market. I mean, obviously, an hourly distribution could turn into a prolonged macro markdown, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that's the case. Especially when we have a bunch of trend metrics that show that the market is bullish. So, like the daily, for example, right? If we went and C-clamped, if we came down here and C-clamped, which would be the hourly distribution, if we drill into this guy. It would just be a mean reversion. So we'd come down here and then we'd have to address this and see. There's your. Oh, it didn't TTS. Thanks for streaming. Well, thanks for the donation. Why didn't it TTS? Do I have to approve it? Let's see. Interesting. Okay, so that's the first one. Maybe I have this messed up. TTS is 400 bits. Oh, I see. Okay, so I do have I do have a threshold. So 300 is $3. Okay, so I guess TTS, you're too poor. Okay, what do you air? I'll do it for you. What was the message? Thanks for streaming. There, we can listen to it together.
Thanks for streaming.
Cool. Thanks for the donation, man. What do we got here? What's the other one? Cheer 50 or 300. 300 is $3. There.
300 is $3.
There we go. We do it manually here. Maybe eventually we'll cross the threshold when I make it big. Pause your chat when you cheer. They pause your chat when you cheer. Oh, okay. I don't know. What do you mean they pause your chat? Need a phone sex worker. Are there still phone sex workers? Is that still a thing? I remember back in like the early 2000s, 90s obviously, but like I remember like being up late and like watching cable and it was like 4 a.m. and you're watching like Billy Mays here, watching that guy. And then it was like, if you keep going past the Billy Mays threshold, then you fall into like the phone sex worker threshold and they'll just like advertise like scandalous phone conversations with God knows who. It can't still be a thing. No, it definitely can't still be a thing because there's like cam girls on the internet, right? Like there can't be phone sex. Like who would, that's like the dial-up version of the internet. Like why would you want that? Anyway, I digress. So signs of distribution to watch out for: an impulsive rally that clears the previous high at 28.9 and that returns to the TR boundary at 20,400. Okay, that clears it. Let's say that returns to the boundary and closes. Returns to the TR boundary and closes below. We'll say, what did I say? 28. Shit. 28,500. I think before I said 400, but it's 500. Right? Yeah, 500. Okay. Okay, what else do we want to say about this? Let's also say, okay, just because an hourly distribution is present, that does not mean a macro distribution is present, i.e. a small pullback in an otherwise bullish market. Cool. Makes sense to everyone? Anyone have any questions about that? I also want to point out too, if you're Bollinger Bands man, like me, it also should be noted that the Bollinger Bands are starting to round. And you can see it in the form of the BBW here, which is this fella. And when it starts to round like this, that usually indicates dying volatility. And the visualization of that is, strong trends stick to the upper band, and then the more it deviates from it, the more the band's round, and then that is the death of an uptrend. And I would imagine, by the time, if this, these are all like ifs, like if, double if, and then double, double, double if. And if it does pull back, we'll target the midline. So I'll also make a note on that as well. So 4 hour, and I'll put this under the daily. So 3. How's that? That looks good, right? Okay, so Bollinger Bands. Let's say B bands. Everyone knows what Bollinger Bands are now. B bands are rounding, visualize in the BBW indicator, thus indicating weakening upward volatility and hinting toward the need to consolidate and or mean revert. We'll say a mean reversion would be the band's midline. And that's a dynamic line. Obviously, like it moves, it's a moving average, right? This thing moves with the market. So if this thing moves up, so will the target. So we'll say currently, what do I want to say? Approximately 24,600. I'll just say, let's say approximately 2,500. Or 25,000 approximately. Because by the time it moves down, if it does move down, that's about what it would be, 25,000. Is that right? Did I measure that right? So where's 25? Yeah, we'll say 25,000. Approximately 25,000. I'll also say this. Any closes below the midline would hint toward a move to the lower band. So here's an example, right? So if we're looking back in time, something like this, we can see that a very similar situation, right? The market came up, failed to glue to the upper band, started moving toward the midline. Bollinger Band width started to round, and we can play it forward, see how it played out, and it gravitates toward the midline. And the whole time, the midline's moving up with the market. That doesn't always happen. Like sometimes it has an aggressive move back down to the midline, but you can see here the market squeezes, and then sometimes it births a new downtrend. Sometimes the market stop playing. Sometimes it births a new downtrend. Sometimes it just goes to the bottom line. But we can see here, like once it closes below the midline, it tends to move to the lower band. The last three hills signaled a pullback. What is a last three hills? Is that a candlestick configuration? What is that? I've never heard of that. So question, could the last rally to 28,800 count as a final rally before distribution? So distribution is this whole trading range, allegedly, right? I'm saying allegedly because we don't have enough data yet. All right, so what is your question? Could the last rally to 28,800, which is this guy, could that count as the final rally before distribution? So I'm just being pedantic here, but you mean to say the final rally before markdown, right? So this whole thing is distribution. Yeah, it totally could. It totally could. I'm just targeting this high because this is an obvious point of liquidity. This was a giant trap that just nuked the market, and it didn't nuke it to a sufficient level to sweep this low. And so what I think is likely to happen is it comes up and takes out this high. But it totally could. Like, the only reason why I'm leaning against that is because we see how tightly these candles are still consolidating. Whenever distribution starts to wrap up and it like goes into the markdown phase, we start to see bigger spread candles and not as many bounces. It's more of a decisive move down like this. So like if we look back in time at like this last, get out of here, this last thing, right? We see here that like once this thing gets ready for markdown, it has very decisive moves down. Not a whole lot of like waffling around. And then, here would be the larger one. Maybe if we look at like the 3-day, it'll be cleaner. Not a whole lot of waffling around. I guess it kind of did here, right? So yeah, I mean, it's totally possible. I'm just eyeballing, like if I see, like basically what I'm doing is like, it's like this, if this, then that scenario, right? And in this case, if the market comes up and it does this, then I will do this, right? I will go short. I will hedge my longs. I will do, whatever your plan is. If this thing comes down, right? If this thing comes down and closes below the trading range, well, then absolutely, right? This thesis is out the window. It comes down here. We would expect either just full-blown markdown or bounce into lower time frame, last point of supply, and do something like that. So either this or this. If it starts closing down below here. So yeah, absolutely, totally could. Schmidtcoin has COVID? What? No, I've had COVID like 6 times though, but this is not one of them, I don't think. Oh, thanks for the tier 1 sub. Yeah, so does that answer your question? So, looking for this. Yeah, I guess I'll add that to the notes as well. So, where's my distribution notes? Say, does not need to rally to the prior high to confirm distribution. Could very well just nuke the low of the DR we would need to see an hourly close outside the TR for strong confidence. And then, of course, like if you wanted to trade this, right? I'm not giving you trading advice, but this is the general strategy. If it comes down, and it does close down here, right? We don't really want to see the market closing back inside. This would be like the threshold that I would feel comfortable staying short. If the market comes down here and starts closing hourlies above here, that'd be like a manual, like get out of here kind of thing. Right? So if it comes down here and does like this, like I would feel sketched out about that. Make you a dotted line. Thanks for the stream. I'll watch it later when I have time to listen and focus on all this. Cool. No worries, man. Listen, watch or listen at your own leisure. Okay. Any questions about this distribution thing? Oh, I guess we should also talk about the target of the rising wedge too, right? Because that's relevant. So 2,900. So 29, something like that. This also looks like a rising wedge throwback too, right? So like a lot of times whenever you see breakouts, you'll see like the market breaks out, gets a throwback, and then nukes. This looks like a rising wedge throwback. Also say hourly rising wedge target of, what did I say? 5,400 still hasn't been hit. Yesterday's bounce looks like a throwback to the broken wedge. Or I'll say this, to the wedge breakout. That way it's not confusion. Wedge breakout. Which is, you know, common theme here, right? Target of 25,400. Where is it? 24,000. Where's my, I had one more target on here, approximately 25,000. So there's like a lot of things pointing toward like downside targets here, right? Can you do the SPOOS chart for Confluence if you have time? What the hell is a SPOOS chart? Did you just make that up? Is that a ticker? Is that just completely fabricated? What is a SPOOS chart? S&P? Oh, yeah, we can definitely chart S&P. So S&P, we can look at futures right now. Is SPOOS a common term? I've never heard someone call it that before. So here's S&P futures, right? It's currently in this like consolidation, and it's going sideways right now. It's not the cleanest read. The hell? Do you guys see this? Why does it say that? Is that just a visual error? Yeah, weird. It's currently, you know, it broke out of this descending channel. Broke out of this descending channel. What we definitely don't want to see is we don't want to see this come back inside the channel because it would then target the other side and most likely do a throw over to the downside. And that would correspond with like some support and resistance here. But if this thing starts closing back inside here, I would target something like way down here. But if we look at like trend metrics right now, like cloud, for example, the daily, here's the weekly, it is currently finding resistance on the cloud. And we can see that like it failed to do the edge to edge. It tried to rally, couldn't quite get inside, and it's kind of just like tracking this lower boundary of the cloud. Now, if it does go sideways and closes inside here, then we target this fella here. But so far, the daily cloud is, the weekly cloud is showing resistance. If we look at the monthly, We do have a TK cross, which if you're unfamiliar with what a TK cross is, I went into detail about that last week and I posted a video on it. But yeah, the cloud is still bullish, but showing weakness on the monthly chart in the form of this TK cross here. Bollinger Bands, take a look. Still hasn't closed above the weekly. I'm sorry, the monthly midline. It is currently tapping the midline and getting rejected, and that looks like, you know, just a failure to rally. We really want to see monthly candles closing above this midline here. And this all makes sense, right? Because when we looked at the Dixie chart, for example, it was showing signs that it's ready to bounce. Which, if Dixie bounces, then we can expect this S&P to come down. We can also look at QQQ. Oops. So QQQ is doing something very similar to SPY, right? It's rejecting. You know, we still have 8 minutes left, so maybe it'll rally in the next 8 minutes and close inside here. But currently, 2 failed rejections. Or I guess not failed rejections. 2 failed closes inside the cloud, but they are rejections. And QQQ, triple Q, is looking even worse than SPY. Okay, we had this SFP, a swing failure pattern, in the form of a cloud rejection, a double cloud rejection. And if we look at the Bollinger Bands, it's making an M top. So M top here, which would target the midline here. So if I leave this here, let's just forecast. Right, so here's the midline. If this thing, same thing as SPY, if it starts tracking along the side of this, I would not want to see it just like get nuked from here. I would like to see it show like something like this that makes it like kind of squiggle into the cloud, and then if it closes inside the cloud, we target here. But until it closes inside the cloud, I'm not expecting any upside potential from SPY or QQQ. Oops. So I'll make some notes here too. I'll add these to the top. I'll say indices. Weekly SPY and QQQ show multiple rejections of the cloud. Watch for a close inside the cloud that would set up an edge to edge. Targets the other side. Can't type today. Of the cloud. Okay, we'll also say QQQ specifically looks weak due to the SFP and B bands top on the weekly. Say top. So it's a dynamic target, right? Got a lot of notes today. So I guess this is a good time to say this, right? So if you want these notes, you can have them. I post them in my Discord, which you're more than welcome to join. I have 2 separate sections, and if you want it, just type !Discord. It'll pop up a link. You can click and join it. And I have a free section where I post, stuff like this, where I have like the show notes, the video clips. I post the replays of the stream. So like I'll post, different clips that I take from it, including like the Ichimoku cloud and the Bollinger Band discussion, stuff like that. I'll post that in there. And then if you're interested in joining my trading group, which is where we actually discuss trades, me and the group of people that I've cultivated since 2017, if you're interested in doing that, I still have the application section open. I haven't accepted anyone new yet, but I'm still sorting through the applications from people that I've gotten it from. And if you're interested in joining that, go to the application section and DM me with all of the That invite has expired? It has? I must have posted a time limited one. Let me see. I'll post one right now. Weird. Here, try that one. I guess I need to change the time limit on it. But yeah. So if you're interested in joining the actual trade group, that is a premium paid section. So if you want to do that, just submit an application with all the questions answered in the application section, and yeah, I'll let you know via direct message some further details on it. But yeah, do you guys want to look at some altcoins? Want to look at some tickers? I mean, start shouting some tickers at me, and we'll start looking at them. I guess we'll start with ETHUSD, right? Where's my? Hold on, I got a text from my mom. Let me see. So let's look at Ether. Ether, 15-minute chart. What? I don't remember doing this. God, I chart some random shit sometimes. Okay, so get out of here, you. Get out of here, you. Boom. Okay, so Ether has this broadening wedge configuration that Bitcoin does, but it never actually broke out. And when we just like I said in the earlier part of the stream. Hold on a second. Sorry, I'm getting texts from people. Sorry. So just like I said at the beginning part of the stream, these overlapping higher time frame candles, you can see quite clearly it's like overlapping, right? This is a sign of distribution. So when we drill deeper, we see how volatile the sucker is. This trading range isn't as clean as Bitcoin's was, but very similar structure in terms of like volume, volatility, things like that. And when we look at like the cloud structure, very similar, still a bullish structure, but very likely going to see a pullback. When we look at things like the daily RSI, I guess it's not technically overbought on the daily, but if you look at the 4 hour, definitely diverging here. Definitely weakness present. I'm gonna look at Mara. What the hell is Mara? Okay. This one, Marathon Digital Holdings. All right, so let me see how much price history we have. This has been volatile. So this is a weekly. Here's a daily. Yeah, I mean, this looks like a run-of-the-mill bear trend. There's no real sign of strength here. I mean, it's had a couple of up days, but in general, like the weekly structure is very much bearish. We had a death cross. We have the stacked bearish configuration of the cloud. Hasn't even broken above the Kijun. Nothing real bullish here. The daily looks like okay, but the weekly just says it all. Like this just looks like a bump on the log. I'm gonna look at Link. I have a Link chart right here. So Link has been in this actual like really nice trading range. It's been in this trading range since May 2022, so almost a year. And it's been just been chilling. Well, everything else has like been super volatile. I mean, don't get me wrong, this is volatile. This is super volatile. Like the size of this trading range is 75%. So it's a massive trading range. But I'm actually really hopeful for this. What I would look for on Link and what I'm currently looking for on Link is the market to come up and close above this band of prices here, this $8, 7.9 to 8.1 range. If it closes up here, that would be the buy signal for me. But until then, buying in the middle of a trading range just generally isn't advisable, just because it's like, look, it's just gonna like whipsaw you all around. So either wait for a strong buy signal like this, or return to the low, and that way you can manage your risk. So say you buy here and it keeps going down, we go, okay, I'll just get out, right? But buying in the middle of a trading range just isn't advisable, because it's like, how do you manage your risk on this? If it comes down here and comes down to the bottom of the trading range, it's like, what, you're down 20%, and you could still be right. So it's just generally not advisable. But overall, like I'm very hopeful on Link. I like what I see. The volatility is dying down throughout the trading range, and the volume is consolidating. These are all textbook signs of accumulation, and the fact that it's like following this like major markdown, the odds of this being a redistribution that lasts a year, unless crypto just absolutely dies and it's just like toast, there's no way this is distribution. Like it just doesn't. The odds of that being the case just aren't likely. Can I look at silver? Absolutely. So silver, I got a silver chart right here. Silver, still watching for this downtrend to break here. Definitely want to see this thing closing above it, but I'm actually really bullish on silver. I'm really bullish on silver and on gold. Gold had a crazy good week, and it's about to close in an hour. This really, really great level flip, right? Here's the level flip. It's finally wrapping up what looks like a 2-3 year reaccumulation trading range, which also is in the form of a cup and handle. If you're familiar with traditional chart patterns, cup, handle. And if this thing marks up, it's going to mark up big time. And as you know, with gold goes on crazy runs, like multi-year runs. And the fact that this has been in a cup and handle for 12 years, I would imagine that gold is going to enter into some epic God mode bull market where it goes into like 5 to 10 year bull market. So I'm like super, super bullish on gold. All right. What other tickers you guys want to look at? Let's look at Litecoin. So Litecoin is doing Litecoin things, was looking weak as shit, had a huge pullback, and then rallied. And one thing that I like about this Litecoin chart is that it's making these higher lows and higher highs. And it's doing so in big volume and big spread. Now, objectively, this is still a bearish market, but check this out. Something that's really good if you're a Litecoin bull. I currently am not exposed to Litecoin at all, but if you're a Litecoin bull, huge edge to edge trade, targeting the other side of the cloud, and it performed a perfect weekly C clamp. So watch as this plays out. Here's the C clamp forming. It goes, hits the C clamp, and closed right on the Tenkan. Or I'm sorry, right on the Kijun. So this is what I think that Bitcoin's going to do ultimately. Litecoin setting up an hourly head and shoulders. Honestly, I don't like looking at alts on like lower time frame. They're just too noisy for me. But either way, like this looks really good. The fact that it closed on the Kijun like this, definitely targeting some major upside potential here, and maybe even a cloud breakout if it does like one of these. That'd be cute. That'd be super cool. All right, you want to look at SYN, SYN. The stock, this, or what do you want to look at? The coin or the stock? Oh my God. Okay. All right, give me a second. Let me look at this. Okay. This is just a super, like, honestly, this just looks like it's going to form a massive range. I mean, any discernible trend metrics say it's going down. Like, it had a full-blown cloud breakout to the downside. This just looks like it's most likely going to head for the lows. Maybe, we'll see. But it even had a recross on the EMAs, the 50 and the 200 EMA. So that just is a failed breakout. This looks weak. This moves are weak. This looks weak. I see no reason to be bullish about this. Thoughts on the OMG Bitcoin 5-year chart? People still trade this coin? This is a thing? Has OMG even been around for 5 years? Hasn't even been around for 5 years. Has it? That's not what I wanted. Okay, yeah, definitely. I'm mixing up my bull runs. Yeah, this is a 2017 coin. Yeah. Why do you want to look at OMG Bitcoin? I mean, this looks like a typical shitcoin. It looks like a typical shitcoin that's like in potential infinite accumulation mode that will just see like one massive dong one day. It led this week? Led what? What are you talking about? What do you mean it led? It's down. This kind of looks like the Dogecoin chart, right? Where it's just like just kind of bubbling about. What does the USD pair look like? Coinbase is delisting OMG. Didn't they delist it a long time ago? Yeah, there's nothing really I can say about this. This looks like a Dogecoin chart that was just like one day just gonna oh look, I have annotation from like forever ago. This is hilarious. Let's go back in time and look at a Bitcoin Schmitcoin classic from September of 2017. It shows you how long I've been doing this shit. That's hilarious. A fake to the downside and rallied. Interesting. It was an over-consolidated descending triangle, and then it led to this huge rally. You think Doge, Bitcoin? What is the, I don't even chart Doge. What is the, oh God, I didn't realize Doge had shit the bed so bad. Damn, it really gave back every single cent of that, huh? That's wild. Yeah, see, this looks like OMG. I cannot believe Doge almost hit $1. That's mind blowing to me. And the fact that some people bought that and they're like, no, I'm a Doge maximalist. They bought in like, I'm holding this for life. Like, how greedy can you get? You had so long to get out of this position. Crazy. I think Doge is going to be sideways for much longer. It's too volatile to the upside. It needs to just bore everyone out of position. It needs to like do this for like another year or two. That's what it used to do before Elon came around. You think it will spike in April or May? Okay. Well, good luck. I don't have an opinion either way on this. Like, I'm not a shitcoin trader. Like, I don't care about things that just do this forever, and then you're just like, whoa, I got it. That's just, I don't. It's not for me. But you know, if you like it and it makes you happy, then it makes me happy. All right. Anything else before we wrap this up? We've been streaming for an hour and a half. It's a good chunk of time. All right. Again, if you're interested in joining the Discord, here's the link. Go ahead and join there. There's a free section for the stream where you can see all my content, my tweets, the stream notes, all that kind of fun stuff. If I ever clip videos, I'll post them there too. So go ahead and check it out there. And then if you're also interested in joining my trading group, which is like a paid section, then go ahead and submit an application in the application section. And follow the directions there, and I'll let you know further details if you're interested. But let's go ahead and wrap this up. Have a good weekend, guys. Stay safe. Don't get super exposed. And we'll check back in on Monday, okay? All right, have a good one, guys.